Hi everyone, I think we're ready to get started. It's 4 o'clock. So welcome to today's Twilight session, which is an introduction to Microsoft Teams. My name is Lisa Antani and I teach digital literacy and computer science at Lindsay Meadow Primary School. My background is in software development and I'm back at uni again doing a teaching qualification in computer science. And I'm joined this afternoon by Michaela.
Hi everyone, I am Michaela Dixon and I teach Primary 1 at West Cledens Primary School in Bishopbriggs, and I have been an MIEE since just about August time, but we've held these training sessions that seem to have been really popular, so here we are again, round 2 this time.
Okay, so to get us started, I'm going to talk about what Teams is and the different types of teams you can create. So Microsoft Teams is a learning hub and it basically facilitates collaboration between staff and pupils. And there's various different types of teams that you might want to make up within your school. The first example there is a class team. So that's one of our Primary 1 teams with the class teachers in there as well as all of the pupils. We've then got a book club team, which is a few different year groups together, and that's just the equivalent and digital equivalent of an after-school club that we have going. We have also got there the Lindsay Meadow Learning Committee, so that's something that our head teacher runs with representatives from each of our classes. We've also then got year group staff teams, and that's where staff collaborate with planning and preparation and things like that. So that's just purely for staff. And then obviously we've got things like the EDC Digital Learning Community, which is across all of the authority. So when you're making up a team, you've got various different options available to you. Obviously, if you're in high school, you would be looking at year group sets for your whatever subjects you're teaching. Just to get us started now, Michaela's going to demonstrate how you actually go about setting up a team from scratch.
So creating a team. So I'll probably come away from the presentation because I think this is probably easier if I just show you step by step how to do this. So I'm going to share my screen with you now, and okay, I'll come out here. So when you log into Teams, I've got lots of different icons here because I'm part of lots of different teams, but you might not have too many to begin with. So if you want to create your own team, what you have to do is go up to the right hand corner here and click the icon that says join or create a team. So it is a really simple step-by-step process. You can see some teams that come up now. This is a public team, which you can ask to join and they would have to approve you, but we've also got create a team, or sometimes in emails, or if there's already teams set up, someone can say, here's the code for a team, for a Microsoft team, and this is where you would enter the code. But if you're going to create your own team, you would go over here to create a team and click the button. And again, like Lisa was saying, it just depends on what the purpose of the team is going to be. So if it's for pupils and teachers, we'd have a class team. Again, professional learning community, a PLC, or if it's only a staff team, or if it's other like a book club or something like Lisa was saying. So what I'm going to do just now is I'll show you very quickly. If I click class, you would give your class a name and you can add a description, but it does say it's optional, but it just comes up at the top right when you've created the team once you go into the settings. So I'll just do test team intro. I'll make a typo when I'm doing training. Intro. And this is just the optional description, so you can see what that looks like when you've created the team. So it might take a minute or so, it might not take long, but one of the things that we would advise you to do, so that you're not adding random students maybe from other schools, is whatever your school code is, you would put that at the beginning and then type name. So for example, West Cledens is, so the school I work in is ED, and then you would type the number, and in there you could then start adding pupils to your school just to make sure that you know that you've added the correct children, and you're not adding children from other schools with the same name, because if you type a name in here, it can give you a list of different options and you don't want to add the wrong people into a team. The other thing you can do here is, it's important to notice that there's a students part here where you would add students or pupils, and this is the staff part. So this will determine whether they come into your team as a member or as an owner. So for example, just now I'm going to add Lisa, and I've added her as a teacher. So if we go to add, and I'll press close. This is what an empty team will look like. And then you can go in, even if you just want to add a staff member first before you add pupils, you can do that as well. And to do anything on here, you click the little ellipses and it will give you some more options. And there's lots of different things you can do here. So you can manage your team. So if we click this first, this is what I was talking about with the description. So the name of the team appears at the top, and underneath we have the optional description here. And you can see that because I added Lisa as a member of staff, as a teacher, she comes under the owners. You can also add channels, which are different spaces that you can do different things in. I'll come back to general. Every time you open your team, your main page is your general channel. So anything that comes up at the side here is called a channel, and general is the main one that every single team has got. At the moment, you can't delete it or edit the name of it, so it's your general channel. You can do different things with your general channel though. You can manage the channel by changing some settings. So what I find is quite useful is if you go into your settings once you've created your team, it's always set to, at default, to anyone can post messages. So it might be useful in your general channel if you're maybe going to use it for things like announcements or information that you want your pupils to have. I would make it that only owners can post messages, but again, this will be up to your personal and school preference, just whatever is going on across your establishment. Or you can have anyone can post and show an alert, but posting will notify everyone, so that's quite good for large teams. So I would change it to only owners can post messages, which means that Lisa and I could both post messages in this team in the general channel. So if I come back, just click general and it'll take me back to that main page again. So the next thing we can do is we can add a channel. So a channel is a space where, for example, it can be used for lots of different things. So some examples might be, you might have a library channel if you're going to post maybe online readings of stories from either yourself or ones that you found online by authors and things. I'm trying to think both primary and secondary focus. If maybe you were in secondary and it was for a small class group, you would maybe have different channels for different units of work. Again, in primary, you might have it for different subject areas, or it might be, I know one of the channels that's used most often in my class teams is the Ask the Teacher channel. And if you click this button at the bottom, it says automatically show this channel in everyone's channel list. And I would add that there, so it means that it will come up and it won't be a hidden channel. So now we can see that we've entered this team. Our main space is the general channel, and then we have Ask the Teacher underneath. Now, apart from general, which will always come at the top of the list, every other channel that you add will come up in alphabetical order or numerical order. So if you add a number at the start, the name of it, you can put them into whatever order you please. Again, you can add different things like emojis and stuff, but if you add emojis, try and add it at the end rather than the beginning, because again, it can change the order of your channels. So if we go back in here, you can add members in this menu as well. You don't have to go into manage team to do that. You can leave the team. Just make sure if you've created a team and you do have pupils already added in, that there is at least a member of staff and one other member of staff, so that if someone does accidentally leave a team, it means that it can be recovered easily enough by the other member of staff. And you can be added back in if you do make this mistake. You can edit the team here. So if we click edit, this is where you can change your avatar. And Lisa has got a nice little tip for choosing avatars that we'll share later on. And again, you can, if you've made a typo or you decide to change the name of the team, you can do so in this menu, just as it's cancelled just now. And again, you can get a link to a team. So if we press this, it gives you a URL and it means you can copy. And if you are emailing someone and you want them to join that team, you can send the link to them and it will come up for them. And then we've got manage tags, which again, you can create different tags to notify groups of people within a team as well. I'll come out of that just now. And just going to show you very quickly. I'll pass back over to Lisa.
Thank you. One of the first distinctions to be aware of with Teams is you can access it on a desktop or laptop computer in two different ways. If you go in this way, so if you log into your Glow account and you click on Teams, this is what's known as the web version of Teams. However, if you go in and download the app, which I've got running down the bottom here, this bit, that's got a lot more features, which we'll talk about later on. So generally, if you can, you want to be using Teams on the app version rather than the web version via Glow. The web version's okay, you just don't get to do as many fancy things and fancy options that we'll come on to. The app is available for Mac users, Windows users, and if you've got pupils on a Chromebook, then they can go into the Google Play Store and download the app version there. So just looking at this team that Michaela's just set up, I'm just going to go through the basic navigation of it. So next to where it says Microsoft Teams, up here in the corner, we have got what's known as the waffle, which basically is the shortcut that allows you to jump through to various different apps. So that's a good way of navigating between your emails and Office 365 apps. So that's our waffle option there. We've next got activity here. And activity is basically an update on what's happening in the teams you are a member of. So it's good to keep an eye on that for updates in case you've been tagged in anything. We've then got chat. Now this is basically like private messaging. So if you're familiar with Facebook, this is like sending someone a private message. You can send a private message to any member of staff in Glow Scotland through this. You don't have to send it to just one person, you can send it to multiple. So if I put in, for example, Michaela there, it'll come up for previous conversations and I can type something in there and hit enter and that will directly go through. Again, be careful when you're using this, just for data protection. If you're going to be typing in, someone with a really common name, you might want to be using your school code first. So if I put in ED080, which is Lindsay Meadows' code, it's restricting my messages to people within Lindsay Meadows. So if I do make a mistake, it's not as big a deal because it's someone else within the school rather than, someone up in the Highlands and Islands or something like that. So just be very conscious of sending your messages to the right person. This facility is only available to staff. We can't private message children. That's been disabled by Glow administrators for child protection. So this is just something you can use with staff. It's quite useful, I quite like it. Teams button just brings you to all the various teams that you're a member of, and you can scroll through these. You can filter these, so it's your different types of teams, and you can switch the view around and things like that. So if I go back into our test one, we've also got a shortcut to your assignments. There is an assignments training session on next week. Assignments are really useful, so I recommend going along to that. We've got our calendar here, which is quite useful for seeing what Teams meetings and things you've been scheduled into attending. And then obviously you can make calls within the chat options as well. If I go back to Michaela's chat, if I want to call, I can just click that there. Our voice call or a video call, that little shortcut button is available there. And you can also add other people in to the chat. It doesn't have to be between two people. You can add other people in there. So that's really useful too. So that's those options. Let me just go back. Yep, this team. Now down the left hand side, as Michaela said, here is what's known as the channels, which are really great for organising your team. One of the channels I would recommend creating would be something along the lines of playground chat. Basically, pupils, as soon as they get onto Teams, they'll want to communicate with each other, and you don't want to dissuade them from doing that. It's really great for a sense of community, but at the same time, you don't want, your talk about, I don't know, ancient Greece, for example, being interspersed with random gifs and emojis and all sorts of things like that going on. So in Lindsay Meadow, all of the teachers have a channel which is within their class team, which is just specifically for children to talk to each other about, playground stuff, whatever it is they want to be chatting about, and that's the place that chat belongs. And if that sort of chat goes into other teams, other channels within the team, it gets deleted. And pupils are all very aware that playground chat is where the random chat goes. So I'd highly recommend having that one. We also have a daily calls channel as well for remote learning, because it just means if you're getting a load of messages and things like, I can't get connected, or I've got issues and things like that, it's all in the one place. And again, it's not interfering with your other messages that you're putting out there. It just keeps things nice and separated. And also within here, you can have groupings. So for example, your red group of maths pupils. The only issue we have with the Glow version of Teams is that we can't make these channels private. You might see online things about, having differentiated channels for certain groups of pupils. That's disabled within Glow, so we can't have that. So if you've got a group of, the red maths group, there's nothing to stop someone in another group going in and having a look, or having a look around there. We can't restrict that, unfortunately, so just be aware of that. You can restrict it and manage it a lot easier within Class Notebook, which again is a session next week, so if you're interested in doing that, go along to next week's session on Class Notebook, and that shows you, I think you can manage closed teams in Class Notebook a lot easier, and it means pupils can't see what other groupings are up to and things like that. It keeps it all very separated. So it's quite good in that respect. So this is where apps bar that I've just gone through. We've obviously got our sidebar here, which is where we arrange our channels and our content. And then along the top here, we've got our tabs. Over here, if you hit on the plus button, you can add different apps into your team. The one that I would recommend everybody adds in is this one here, the Insights. And it's really simple to install. You simply just do that, add it in. This little button here means that you can post to your team to say that you've put it on there or not. I would just untick that and then hit save. And what Insights does is it tracks the activity of your pupils within the team. And obviously at the moment it won't be tracking anyone because there's no pupils in the team, but were we to add some pupils in, it would give us data on what their engagement has been. So have they been looking at their assignments? Have they been opening up documents? What have they been up to? So that's definitely to be added in there. Highly recommend adding that one in. The posts obviously just shows you the posts coming up here. The files is really useful. Use this a lot. Within the general channel, you will have by default this class materials folder. This is great because anything that you put into your class materials folder is automatically read-only for pupils, not for owners. Owners can go in and edit it and move it or delete it. However, pupils can literally just click on it and view it. So that's really handy because obviously if you're putting up something, with instructions about how to do something, if you're in a bit of digital research or something, you don't want pupils going in and deleting your instructions or just deleting the document altogether. So it's a really good place to put things is the class materials folder. By default, it's only in the general channel. So if I go to the Ask the Teacher channel and go into files, you'll notice it's not there. And anything that I put in here will be editable by the children unless you change it. And I'll show you how to change that a little bit later on when I'm putting a document in there. So just bear that in mind. Anything you're putting up there, You might, I mean, you may well want it to be editable because you might have some sort of group activity where you want pupils to go in and be typing things and doing things. But if it's something instructional or some sort of reference text you don't want them editing, beware that you really want to either have it in class materials or have it in a different channel, but you need to go in and make it that it's viewable only by pupils, otherwise chaos can ensue. So just be aware of that one. Class Notebook is like an add-on to Teams, which has got lots of cool new features. Like, for example, the collaborative groups where pupils can infiltrate other groups. So you can go along to the training next week to learn more about that one. Same with assignments. That's a training session next week. In terms of adding on other things, a really useful one that I use quite a lot is this website one. What it lets you do is add a website as a tab. So for example, I've been putting the digital classrooms in here. So if I put digital classroom, get the link, if I go into my thing link, if I go to primary 1A, so we'll pretend this is a primary 1 classroom, this week's digital classroom is here. So if I click on share and just copy that link, go back to my team and paste the link in here. You can now see that my digital classroom has appeared as a tab, and this is really great for not having to send pupils out of Teams. It just keeps it all in one place. However, be careful not to sort of go overboard with tabs. I tend to only add on, well, Insights is there permanently, keep that there. But in terms of websites and extra tabs, I would maybe only add on 2 or 3. And then, you can right click on them and remove them just when they're no longer relevant. So if you're doing a particular piece of topic work and you wanted them to look at a certain part of BBC Bite Size or something like that, you would just go in and put that website in. It's really useful. I like that one. And a new one, which we have literally just got in the last week or so, is Whiteboard. I really like this one. This is a good addition. So you can call it, so you might want to call it, I don't know, brainstorming for Scotland topic or something like that. And save it. What you can do is make it so that only you can work on it, or make it collaborative so the pupils can go in and collaborate on it, depending on what it is you're up to. If you want pupils to put their input in, you'd obviously click anyone can edit, and then pupils can come in here and add their drawings, scribbles, sketches and ideas. And there's a little text tool there as well that they can type in there. So that's a really nice collaborative way of gathering pupils' ideas and work. You could obviously use that as an evidence of something like prior knowledge, and when the pupils edit it and do things on it, you can see who's done what, which is really great. So that's a useful tab to add in there. I'll just delete that. That's our tabs, and so that's the sort of quick look around the navigation sort of elements of Teams and the interface. Next up, Michaela's going to talk to you about chatting in Teams and making announcements and things like that.
So one of the things when we're talking about chatting to your pupils, obviously we can't do it privately here, but we can start conversations on different channels within the team. So one of the things is if you click the button at the bottom that says new conversation, you can type things in here, but it just comes up as a basic message. However, if you go into new conversation, there's a formatting tool down, as you can see at the bottom. And if you click the first one, you can then add a title here, and you can start another new conversation. Or send that. That's what this one looks like. So it's got a title in bold and larger text, and then you've got your usual text or rubbish underneath. And then if you go to new conversation in your format tab again, the one that's probably used most often is the announcement format. So you can add a headline in here. So when it's saying headline, I usually put today's date, very original. But Thursday, 18th of February 2021. Now you can change lots of different things with this to make it look more appealing to your learners and eye-catching and engaging. You can change the colour, and again, very boring and probably not very original, but I colour code the days as a rainbow. So I do Monday is pink, Tuesday is the kind of coral colour, Wednesday is yellow, Thursday is the kind of jade colour, and then Friday is the blue one. Now you can keep it colour coded, but there's also built-in illustrations already within Teams, so you can choose an illustration. Now it could be something important, so you could do big megaphone, this is important, or you can do ones that are subject or class specific. There's different ones if you want to scroll through and you can have a look at those, and it's just something that's just a little bit eye-catching, so that you can alert your learners that you've posted something on the team. You can also do different ones, just kind of random ones, have a movie night, all these kind of different things. Dinosaurs, love dinosaurs, look that up. So you can do that, but you can also upload your own images and create your own as well. So the image does have to be round about this size, and it says to get the best result, choose an image that's at least 918 by 120 pixels, which is very, again, specific, but you can get something that's round about this size and you can kind of scale up or scale it down a little bit and try and match it in. So the next thing is you can, once you've got it as an announcement up here, you can also add a subheading, and you can also change different things here, so you and moderators can reply, or you can make it so that everyone can reply. And again, you can also, if you're a member of more than one team, you can post in multiple teams in various different channels. So if I was to go to select channels, I can then go through different teams and I just tick the box of the channels that I want to post this post to, this update. So test update. Now you can type your announcement here, and if it's posted in your general channel, it will appear. But one of the things that's really good to notify people that there is a post there is to do the @ symbol. So when you do the @ symbol, like Lisa had said earlier on, you can then select, the suggestions will appear, and you can select people. So you can select a person, so a specific member of the team. You can select the name of the team as well. So if I started typing test team, you can tag everyone in the team and notify everybody that there's been something put there. Or you can also tag channels. So for example, if I'm putting this post in two separate teams, they've both got a general channel by default. If I tag the general channel, it'll notify everyone in both of those teams. Rather than going through teams individually and tagging the team, you can tag general and it'll notify them within both teams there as well. So what you can do as well, there's lots of different options at the bottom. You can format text. We all love some emojis, lots of emojis to choose from. And there you can pop silly ones on and all the rest of it. You can also add GIFs, which once learners find out where they are, happy Thursday, they're all very happy to use them and have a good laugh with them as well. We can also add different kinds of stickers. There are lots and lots and lots and lots to choose from, just depending. You pop things in there, all lots of very engaging and visual effects. You can also, there's stream here, which, Lisa, I'm not 100%, is it the 31st of March?
Apparently that's, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. We'll not go too much into stream today, that's more for video content. You can also send praise to other staff members and pupils, which is really nice. It comes up kind of like a little mini sticker, so to speak, but it lets you personalise the comment as well. So for example, I think Lisa is awesome. She has done some awesome work. She's done some awesome training, and I'm going to give Lisa some praise. You are doing a fantastic job. And it lets you preview it so you can see what it looks like, and it will say Mrs. Dixon sent praise to Lisa Antani, and it will give the little sticker as well, and then you can send it in there. So that will actually pop up separately here. But there's lots of different things that you can do with chat and announcements and posts on here. Approvals, if we click here, there we go. Now it says name of request, so username that's easy to understand, and it says that basically this, if this person posts, it requires a response from all approvers. So we'll come back to that later. And then again, like Lisa was shown earlier on, there are forms. So this is where you can insert a poll, or basically a mini questionnaire with one question. And the last thing here, the ellipses, is you can add other things as well, which I'll leave you to explore in your own time. So if I just send this here, this exact post will come up in the two different training teams, and the way that you know that you've sent it to more than one channel, and you hover over this little icon here, and it'll say it's been posted in the demo team, which is just another one I've created, and then it's been posted in this test team here as well. So if I go on to talking about threads, again, you can tag people, individuals. So if I can tag Lisa, I can tag the whole team, and again, I'm just pressing @ before the type, and then I can tag as well. And if you've not formatted this, if you press enter, it will automatically send a message like this. But if you then press new conversation and you press the format button first, you can do lots of different tags. Sorry, Lisa, you'll be getting lots of different notifications. If I then press enter, I can do it as many times as I like without actually sending the message. But if you don't press that format button first, then it will automatically send the message, whereas I had to actually click send that second time round. So one of the things we were saying, where when you're posting a new thread, you can either tag the entire team or individuals. You don't have to do this, but it could be missed if you don't tag the person that you want to see. And again, one of the nice things is that maybe you want to acknowledge that, yeah, I've saw that message, that's great. There's lots of different little emojis and little reactions, as we have discovered at the side here. Now, reactions have recently come to meetings, which we will talk about as well, but you have your like button, your love or heart button, a smile or a laugh, you're surprised, you're sad, and sometimes when this pops up, I don't know if it's a mistake or not a mistake, but the angry emoji as well. And again, if you've maybe posted something and you've went, oh, I've sent that and I forgot to add this in, you can then click the more options, so the ellipsis here, and there's lots and lots and lots and lots of different options here as well. So you can edit your post, delete your post, mark it as unread, which you wouldn't do for a post that you've created anyway. What I really like is copy the link. So, for example, if I had posted something, just going to create a very, very, very quick channel. So just to put this into context, I've got a space channel where we've been doing lots of different topic activities. And if I put on a task, task 1, but then the space channel becomes really clogged with lots of different posts and GIFs and comments and pictures, lots of content. You can actually link your tasks. So for example, if I'd posted this here and lots of other things were added around about it, it's quite nice to just copy the link from there. You can go back into your general channel. And then if you're maybe doing a daily announcement saying, this is what we're doing today, I would really like you to do this task, it's on the space channel, and you're trying to explain where it is to find it, you can actually just link the task instead. So if I just do task 1, just format this, task 1 on space channel. So you could do something like, please click here to visit your space task, and you can then basically link it. So I've did Control K for a shortcut, but if you go to insert link, this little button here, you can then paste the link in here and then insert it, so that when we post this onto your general channel, it'll take you exactly to the post that you were talking about, that task on the Space channel, which is here, which is just quite a nice little shortcut to add in as well. And now Lisa is going to demonstrate Immersive Reader, which is built into Teams to promote accessibility. Sorry, here we go.
So I'm just going to add it to the channel, and I'll call it reading tasks. Okay, so I'm now within the reading task channel, and I'm going to upload a file that I want my pupils to look at. So if I click on files, then click on upload file, it's within my documents. So if I do that, and that's uploaded. Now you will remember, because this is not in the general channel in this class materials folder, by default pupils will be able to go in and tamper with this, which I don't want. So what I simply do is, if I hover over it, there's the three dots here. If I click on those dots and go to open in SharePoint, and then again on the three dots within SharePoint and go to Manage Access. Over there on the right hand side here, this is the whole team. You'd obviously, if you've got pupils there, it would come up saying pupils, and what you'd want to make sure is that they're ticked to just view. So it would say test team students, and you'd make sure that they're on view only, because by default they're not, because it's not in that class materials folder. So it's as simple as that. That's a really good tip to keep your stuff safe. So I'll put this file in here. I want pupils to look at it, so if they just simply click on it, it opens it up within Teams. And to promote accessibility, we have actually got Immersive Reader built into Teams, which is fab. All you have to do is click on more tabs, click on your view, and over here on the left you'll see Immersive Reader comes up, so you just click on that. And this is just an extract from Matilda. What you can do is down at the bottom here, next to where it says play, you'll notice there's some voice settings you can click on. So if I click on there, I can select either a female voice or a male voice, and I can adjust the speed that that person talks at, from a slow turtle all the way through to a speedy hare. So you can just slide that along as the pupil wishes. It's really great. So if I now click on play.
By the time she was 3, Matilda had taught herself to read by studying newspapers.
So that obviously reads it out to you, which is fab. There's some more options built in which are really worth looking at. So over here up in the top right where it says text preferences, you can adjust the size of the text. If you've got pupils with visual impairment, you can mess around with that. What you can also do that I personally like is increase the spacing, which just makes it a lot easier to read just by simply toggling that button. If you've got pupils who are dyslexic, then they might have a font preference. They might tend to prefer Comic Sans, so you can click there and immediately change the font. And another good one for dyslexia is just being able to put a background colour in. And studies have shown that when pupils read a bit of text with a white background compared to a bit of text with a coloured background, that they actually have a lot more retention of facts with the coloured background in there. So that's a really good feature to look at as well. Over here, if you're doing some grammar work, or if you want the pupils to read themselves, this syllables toggle button is really great. It helps them just decoding the words. So you can see there Matilda is now ma-til-da, which can really help with reading aloud if you're wanting them to, if you're on a live Teams call and you're doing a little bit of round robin reading, that's a really great feature in there. If you're looking at sort of grammar and parts of text, you can toggle so that nouns are purple, or you can change it so that nouns are light orange. And you can mess around with these different options. If your pupil has some sort of visual impairment and colours are an issue, you can just toggle the show labels, and that just shows you that, recipe is a noun, books are a noun, and that's got, it's because I've only got nouns highlighted here. We put some adverbs in, you can now see the adverbs, and that's just really good for looking at the construction of sentences and how sentences are made up. So that's a really useful feature too. And then we've got reading preferences here. This can be particularly good if you have children who have issues focusing. What it does is it zones in on a particular, either one line, 3 lines, or 5 lines, and it'll just scroll through it that way.
That lay around the house.
So that's really useful too. I like that one. And then we're coming now to my favourite part. We've got a picture dictionary. So if you toggle the picture dictionary and then click on a word, you can see what that word is, and that's really great for promoting sort of comprehension, and also it can help obviously with reading and decoding skills. It's really useful to have that on. And my favourite part is the languages. What you can do is either by word or the entire document. So if I do the entire document, you can change it to another language, which could obviously be really great if you have children who have English as an additional language, or if you get children learning a second language, this can be great. So for example, if I change this to the only other language that I speak, which is Japanese, if I click on there, and if I toggle document, you will see it's now changed the text to a mixture of kanji and hiragana script. And if I click play,
マチルダは3歳の頃には家の周りに置かれた新聞や雑誌を勉強して読むことを教え
it's fabulous. They've actually got like first language speakers doing it. That's not like an American person speaking Japanese. That's a first language speaker. So there's a lot of fun to be had there. You can do the entire document, or you can do it just a word. So if I click on the word book, the word book in Japanese is hon. So hopefully it's going to say that to me.
Hon.
There we go, hon. It's brilliant. So yeah, loads of fun to be had in Immersive Reader. I think it's really important when you set up your team and you're doing like a live call, or if you're in class doing blended learning and you're doing Teams homework, I think it's a really good idea to have pupils aware of this and let them have fun and have a play around with it. And it really does promote ease of reading, accessibility. It's brilliant. There's so many great things about this. So I definitely recommend it. It doesn't work with PDFs. It works with Office, Word, and PowerPoint. So just be aware that you might want to be converting PDFs into Word if you want pupils to be able to use this immersive reader function. And I'm now going to pass you back to Michaela, who's going to talk about team meetings.
So in Teams meetings now, one of the things, just while I remember off the top of my head as well, Immersive Reader is available for files. It's also available if your pupils are using a desktop version. It can actually, I think, if you go to the top right hand side and you toggle that 3 button, the 3 dots again, that little ellipsis symbol, you can get Immersive Reader on desktop to read announcements and read posts in general and different channels. The only thing is, the last time I checked, which wasn't that long ago, it wasn't available on mobile devices, but it was on desktop devices, and it's built into assignments. So if you come to the training for that next week, I'll show you how to do that as well. So it can read all the instructions and everything. But anyway, so Teams meetings. So on the upper right hand side of your Teams, you can press either the Meet Now button, which you can see here, or you can schedule a meeting. Now, if you do Meet Now, it literally starts a meeting there and then, but there are a couple of things before, you don't panic, you're not live and everyone can see you yet. There's a few different settings that you have to go through first before you go to that, or you can schedule a meeting for the future. And we've got here that by default, the lobby will be activated. So the lobby is what you'll have had to pass today to enter this training. So it'll say, someone will let you in soon, you're in the lobby. So it's basically we would have to then approve you. But the lobby can be turned off once everyone's into the meeting, and it just means that you're not being distracted with people maybe coming out of the meeting and rejoining if there's a connection issue, or if the meeting's kicked them out for whatever reason. So for example, before, if you press that Meet Now button, or you click Join to join a meeting, this screen should appear, and you can see me here with a very cheesy smile, showing that basically you can turn your camera on and off by toggling this button. You can turn your microphone or your audio on and off by this button. And basically here is your background filters, which you can see, usually I do have it blurred, but this can be changed as well. And again, we would recommend using the full version of Teams, the app version downloaded, rather than using the web browser version through Glow on your web browser. So for example, ideal for preserving privacy of your home. And again, it's recommended by East Bartonshire Council to blur your background. So you can see in that last slide there, that was it blurred. But you can change your background to a number of different things. These are all again built into Teams already. There's lots of different backgrounds. My primary ones were asking that they couldn't really believe that I was in space the other week. I said, well, sorry, but it is just my house. But yeah, you can change lots of different backgrounds, and it can be quite engaging. But again, it can also be distracting. So I think it's just about finding that balance and using it when it's appropriate. But again, the blur feature is really good and useful. Again, with noise suppression, you can also do this before starting meetings. So it means if you've maybe got some things like background noise or things going on in the background on a Windows computer, you can choose this noise suppression. If you're using a Mac though, unfortunately, it doesn't seem to be available yet. You'd go into your settings on your team and you would go to devices and go down here, and you can change the level of noise suppression. I'll show you how to actually access that in a minute or so. So, managing pupils. So once you're in your meeting and you've let pupils into the meeting, you can, again, prior, you can post a link to the meeting so that they know where to go, or once they've cracked that and they know where their meetings are, you can let them join, and there's different options. So if you click again, this 3 dots is really, really useful. It's everywhere, but there's lots of different options to be found. If you click the ellipsis here, there's lots of different options. We've got mute, so you can mute that particular participant, so you can go through and mute ones if they've joined the meeting, everyone else is muted and their microphone's still going on. You can mute them individually. You can spotlight them, which means that basically their picture, if their camera's turned on, their picture would appear large on the screen for everyone to see. You can make them a presenter, which I wouldn't recommend with pupils, because then they can take control and present and all the rest of it, and you can remove pupils from a meeting. Now, when you go to the menu at the top of the meeting, there's this menu that says participants, and again, your 3 dots. You can, instead of going through every attendee individually, you can mute them all at the one go, at the one time. Now, if you press mute all, that's fine. It'll mute all the microphones, but then if they tap their microphone again, it'll automatically unmute them. However, we have this function here, which we sometimes call a hard mute. So it means that once you've muted all of them, you don't allow them to unmute. So sometimes this is used for like large training sessions or very large meetings where it's someone presenting information, and the participants are there basically to listen and watch and not to contribute to that. You can also download your attendance list here, which is really, really useful, and it shows that who joined the meeting, what time they joined the meeting, and when they left the meeting, if they've left before you've downloaded that participant list. Another nice feature is together mode, but you have to do this on your own screen and then share your screen. But it is quite a nice feature, and it promotes a sense of community, and it can reduce video call fatigue, which actually you might have been suffering from in the last few weeks, and I hope you're all not suffering too bad from that. But you go into your menu, so your 3 dots here, and you would go to, now you can't really see it very well on this screen, but it's together mode. And if you're sharing your screen, you would then be able to see everyone, and it basically cuts around you, and you can still move around and stuff. It's not a still image like this. You can still move around, and it puts you into different places. It can put you into a lecture theatre. There's a Minecraft background for that one as well. There's lots of different options for that. And again, for Teams meetings, the fairly new one is reactions, which I'll speak about in a second, but this is how to share your screen. So you might say, oh, I'm going to share my screen. You might hear that quite often. The way to do that is at the top of your meeting, at the right-hand side, you'll have a bar that looks like this. And to share any content, whether that be a PowerPoint presentation, share your screen, or different documents and things, you would click this Share Content button here. And then it will give you different options on what you want to share. And again, here we have, you can have the hand up button. You might have heard of that as well. So if you click this icon here, you'll see that we do have the hand up function. There it's there. But we now also have reactions which have been added. So if someone's presenting a PowerPoint and they think it's good, they might give you a little thumbs up, or they might give you a love heart, or they might give you a clap, or a laugh, or a happy face. Quite fortunately, the angry face has been removed from that, so that's a good thing too. And again, Teams meetings. So when I was talking about the lobby, to switch that, you would go to your three dots again at the top. So once you've started letting people into the meeting, you're quite happy for everyone and anyone in the team to join. You would then go to your meeting options, which is here, and then it would pop up like this. And in your meeting options, it's who can bypass the lobby, and it'd be people in my organisation. So that's people that are within your team already. Now there's an option under here that you can't actually see, and it says, say this for all future meetings, or it's something along the lines of that. Don't do that, just do it for this individual meeting. I wouldn't change that setting, because then you would have lots of different chaos and people maybe starting meetings when they shouldn't be and things like that. So again, you've got menus here which allow attendees to unmute, so you can keep that on, or you can turn it off and it will hard mute them. And you can actually turn the reactions off as well. So if it's maybe in a meeting where it's just not appropriate for pupils to be sitting pressing on love hearts, and it can be quite distracting on the screen, you can actually turn them off and then just click the save options there as well. Now what I'll do is I will pass back over to you, Lisa, if you want to press control. And does anybody have any questions?
Silence. I was going to say, just at this, when you set up a meeting, it's a good idea to just to promote a sense of community, have a little poll to begin with by doing the at forms function and letting the children choose their class avatar. So you can have a discussion with them, say, who do you think our class mascot should be? And they'll come up with different ideas, and then let them vote. It's a really nice way of starting it up, and obviously getting expectations posted in there. There's a really nice poster that Microsoft produced actually, and it's about, being kind and respectful, and just online etiquette and behavioural expectations. It's always good to start with that. But other than that, that's pretty much all the basics of Microsoft Teams. What you can do to get started is just what I did when I first discovered Teams, is create a team with just you in it, and mess around, add channels, have all these emojis and announcements and all sorts of things going on, and you're not annoying anyone because it's just you that can see it. So that's probably the best way to get familiar with it, is just start up a team of yourself, or a colleague if they want to have a play around in it as well. It's a good way of just getting familiar with all the different options and settings and things. Oh, we've got the codes as well. So if you are on the Microsoft Education community, the MEC, you can earn credits for attending this session. I'll just get the codes put into the chat window. Now there's two different codes, and that's simply because Michaela and I have both got EduTracker accounts, and we've just split it by birthday, so that half of you will hopefully roughly put in one code and half of you will put in the other. If you want to create a meeting with just a couple of colleagues and not everyone in the whole team, so you can do that just through the chat. part of the app just by going into chat and starting a chat with you and one other person or two other people, and then just click on the video on the top right. It means it's just going to be a meeting with you and a few other people, and if that's got nothing to do with your team, so people in the team won't even be aware that you've started a meeting. Anyone else got any questions? No, perfect. Well, thank you all for coming. If you go away and have a play around and then some questions pop up, then obviously there is a Teams channel within the EDC Digital Learning team. So you can post in there and someone will be able to help you out in there. And thank you all very much for coming.
Yep, sorry, microphone was muted there again for a wee while, but yes, thank you all for coming. We really appreciate it, especially when Thursdays can be quite tiring and we're near the end of the week, so we do really appreciate it. Thank you. You're very welcome, and thank you, Miss Dunn. Thank you. You don't get the code by clicking the link above. I've just posted the link, sorry, because that's where you would be putting the codes in. So it's the Microsoft Educator Centre website. If you go onto there, and then have we got that clip somewhere, Lisa? We've got
yes,
that.
I'll need to copy paste that.
Yeah, if we could, we'll post a little video clip and it will show you exactly how to redeem the codes. I hope that's helpful, Mrs. Ahmed. Thank you. But yeah, thank you all very much for coming. We appreciate it. Thank you.